Welcome, everybody. This is No Continues. My name is Juice, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ben Duzo. Ben, how are we doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I am doing great as well. We've been talking about doing this for a while, so I'm real excited that we get to do this. This is our brand new video game discussion show where every couple weeks you and I are going to get together, talk about gaming news, gaming rumors, gaming leaks, game reviews, and of course, big video game events like Nintendo Directs, Sony State of Plays, the Summer Game Fest, and of course, today's big topic, which is the Game Awards. A great one for us to get started on today. But before we get into any of that, Ben, what are you playing? What are you playing these days over this December time?
So, these days, oh, actually, am I muted? No, okay, good. We're good. These days, I'm actually playing Astro Bot on stream, trying to 100% it, and, yeah, I've tried to complete the world record on a level. It's not doing too great right now, but, you know, you know, I'm gonna get there, How about you, Juice? What are you playing?
Yeah, right now, I'm playing Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm
Ooh.
playing through it again for the first time in a couple years. It's set around Christmas time, so that's why I'm kind of playing through it right now. It's real short. Like
Real
if you
short,
haven't played
yeah.
it, like it's only about 8 to 10
8 to
hours.
10
Like
hours, yeah.
I when I was first playing it, I was like, everyone said this game was short. I don't know what everyone's complaining about. It's pretty long. And then literally right when I said that, they were like, this is the final mission. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay, no, actually, yeah, maybe this is really short. But I thought to go with the Christmas vibes, I decided to go with Miles Morales.
I
But
think it's a great Christmas game, honestly. Like,
yeah, so do I.
yeah,
Yeah,
really
nice and
good.
simple. The combat I think is a little bit better than Spider-Man 2018 just due to the Venom powers. It's
Yeah,
really punchy. I like like what Miles can do in comparison to Peter, but nothing story-wise. The story's really
yeah. The
bland.
story is
It's
the
pretty
same thing.
boring. Like,
Exactly.
but the game is really fun, and yeah, that's what I've been playing. Just something real quick that I can
Nice.
get through, and I got some other stuff that I need to get through over the holidays that we'll talk about
Okay.
in the future.
In the future. All right. All
We
right.
will. So we're going to talk about the Game Awards this year. This is the 10th anniversary of Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. He decided that he was going to make his own video game award show, and it's been 10 years
10
running.
years.
So just your brief thoughts on what you thought of this year's Game Awards. Just what did you think overall?
Okay. So, first of all, I think it's one of the best shows he did for a while. I think I've started watching the Game Awards, I think, back in like 2018 or something. I think it's definitely the best one he did in terms of announcement. I think most of the games were very varied instead of always being like first person shooters or like third person shooters or like the next AAA game. I think he actually like made it so we had like a couple of indie games, a couple of games that actually I look forward to, remakes, remasters, which I was very excited about, and I think we're going to talk about it in a bit. But yeah, overall, I liked it. It's the first time I was actually impressed. I think since E3 closed, no longer available. It's no longer going to show that we're going to see.
Yeah.
I think he had to step up in a way. He had to take on to all the like announcement. I think it's the new E3 in a way. Like the Game Awards is the new E3. I just wish Nintendo had a bigger presence on the Game Awards, to be honest, since you know we're both Nintendo fans, so yeah. But I was so that's what I thought. I thought it was really great, honestly, but not like blew my mind and like, oh my god, it's so good. Like it was great. It was great.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the same. I thought this was the first, I'm kind of like you. I didn't watch from the beginning for Game Awards. Like I didn't, not 10 years ago. Same time for me, around 2017, 2018, when I started really taking gaming things seriously, and I was always up to date with these things. I will say this is probably the best one.
Yeah.
The pacing I thought was way better than in years past. Less cringy moments, you know, the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There were a couple, but it was far less than what it used to be.
Yeah.
I thought this year's Muppets were great. I'm a big fan of the Muppets, and I thought that this year was the best year for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I thought, and Jeff, to his credit, you know, they addressed the layoff thing. You know, he got a lot of flack for that last year. So yeah, I thought this year it was just a more well-paced show. I thought the announcements were great, and we're going to get into the highlights that we enjoyed later. Yeah, I thought overall it was pretty good. I get people don't like that it's 3 hours, but I think at this point, it is what it is. It's going to be 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I know it's hard to sit in one spot for 3 hours, but there's so much happening that, you know, it is what it is at this point.
And going on your point, like, I think they addressed a lot of the criticism that they had with the Muppets, which I thought was really great because, like,
me too.
Yeah, yes, it is 3 hours. Yes, it is long, and I can tell you for a fact, like, the last years that I've watched it, I thought it was very, very long, especially with the lackluster announcement. I thought sometimes like I was just wasting my time listening to it, but now, like, this year, I actually had a blast all the way through. I didn't really see the time pass. Like, it was good. Like, it was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I thought, you know, and it's tough with this show, especially because it live and dies by the announcements, which is kind of a detriment to it because we are supposed to be celebrating the games that came out throughout the year. And I think this year they did a better job of letting them speak for about 3 to 4 minutes rather than just 2. Last year, it felt like they were rushed off stage, which was rough, especially for Aonuma, who just won, like, whatever it was, best adventure game for, like, Tears of the Kingdom, and they rushed him off. Like, this guy who is an industry veteran.
Exactly, you don't rush that guy, exactly.
Yeah. So same thing with the Baldur's Gate 3 guys. I felt bad for them. It was like 2 minutes, like, you get your time to shine. So I think this year it looked like they got about 3 to 4 minutes, which was, you know, nice and concise, nice and packed. So yeah, you know, I think, you know, there are going to be years where you get less announcements than others. But if they can kind of keep the pace, like, keep it moving, I think I'm willing to accept that some years are going to be less than others, right?
And another point that I want to bring is, like, I think they're still learning. They're still learning how to do a show. Like, it felt like, because going back to E3, it felt professional. It felt like an actual show. It felt like everything was going into places. You know, you were there for the announcements. You know, you were there for whatever E3 was. But for the Game Awards, at first, it was marketed as a celebration of video game, which it still is in a way.
Yeah.
It still is because we celebrate video games, but it's a second nature now. It's more about the announcement. That's what drives the show. And at the same time, we have to understand that, like, everyone's driven by money. Like, unfortunately,
exactly.
Companies pays a lot of money to put their games there. So, like, and that's the thing I came to, like, let go over the years. I was just like, at first I was a little bit salty about it. I was like, like, it's just sad that it's just announcement after announcement after announcements, and then after that, for 2 seconds, they're like, the best action game, they just spit out the names, and then they come back to an announcement. But nowadays, I'm just like, it's the reality of things, you know? If they want to keep that show going, they have to do that. They have no... So...
You're going to see Dorito ads. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
We're going to have to see them, you know?
Exactly.
So... Or even certain games where you're just like, that's just a mobile game trailer. Unfortunately, sometimes they pay the bills.
Exactly, right? So, like the Oyoverse games, like...
they don't do anything for me, unfortunately. The Zenless Zone Zero, the Honkai Star Rail, they don't really do anything for me. But I know that, you know, that's Tencent, right? So
exactly,
you know, they got a lot of money. And if they're willing to pay for the advertisement, I'll put up with it.
And they are, to their credit, they have fans. Like, they have big fans.
Huge fans. Yeah, exactly.
It's not because we're not the target demographic that it's not meant to be there. Like, that's the thing, you know. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought overall this was probably the best year in a while. So if they can build off this and keep it kind of this pace, I think that's
Yeah.
definitely where I'd like to see it go. So we could talk about every single award, but that would be we'd be here forever.
Yeah.
So I think we're just really gonna dive into the 2024 game of the year.
Oh.
So obviously the announcements were Belantro, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Black Myth Wukong, Metaphor ReFantazio, and of course the winner, that being Astro Bot. So before we get into, I guess, just all of these games, because I think there's a discussion I'd like to have about all of them. I think you kind of had two minds about the game of the year. So here's the thing. I did not play any of these games.
Okay, you haven't played
I didn't have the
games.
time.
Okay.
Now, I know for a fact you've been streaming Astro Bot and you've been really enjoying it. But I think that you and I both thought Metaphor ReFantazio seemed to... I thought it was really gaining momentum to win Game of the Year. So I want to know, because I believe you've played both. What did you really enjoy about Metaphor? What did you really enjoy about Astro Bot? And can you make the case as to why both of them should have won? And of course, Astro Bot winning eventually.
So, to be fair, I've only played 10 hours of Metaphor because, you know, I'm streaming. I try to do content creation.
I mean, it's more than me.
Exactly. So I played the demo. I absolutely fell in love with it. The problem is I'm very biased towards Atlas game because I'm a big Persona fan. I don't know if you can see in my background, but, you know, I got all them Shin Megami Tenseis and stuff like that. So I'm a very biased person when it comes to Atlas. I think they're the companies that actually makes really good RPGs that everyone can enjoy. It's not like an RPG where it's like super like grindy, nobody wants to play because it's 90 hours. No, they're really great RPGs. I think Metaphor, for what I played it, for what I've played, and from what my friends told me, because one of my friends actually finished it and he lent it to me. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here.
Yeah, I see it up there. Yeah.
So he lent it to me, and he said it was one of the greatest game he played of all time. Like, and I kind of seen that in the demo. It's a great mix between Persona and Shin Megami Tensei and just an RPG in general. I think it combines an element of action RPG and turn-based RPG, which I really like.
Yeah.
There's like, whenever you encounter an enemy, you have to go to like a little action RPG, not mini game, but like you don't have to do it. It's a risk and reward type of system, which Atlas loves to do. And I just thought it was just that. It's just brilliant because you can either like plow through the game if you know what you're doing, or you could just get destroyed, because whenever you do it, you can either lose the advantage or just have the advantage. Anyway, it's for that. I just think the story, the graphics, the art direction, the music actually blew up on TikTok for like a couple of weeks. Like the battle theme blew up on TikTok, which honestly, I think for me tells me that this game is actually like, if it blows on TikTok for the music, like, I don't know, for me it's like a lot of people are enjoying it so far. So there's that. And no, I just thought that the story was brilliant. The character design, everything was brilliant about this game. For the case of Astro Bot, I've played it on stream through completion. Right now I'm doing the 100% because like it's a popular game right now. You know, you got to play the streaming game.
Yeah.
It is a really good game. It is a very nostalgic filled video game. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that's what drives it the most for now. What I said to one of my friends recently is like, I think Mario 3D World is a better game than Astro Bot. Like, by far. By far, for like, in terms of level design, in terms of, not graphics, because, you know, it's on PS5 and stuff like that, but in terms of level design, instead of variety, replayability, because unfortunately on Astro Bot, you can't really replay the game. If ever you replay a level, you're gonna it's not meant to be replayed. It's more like a movie. Every stage are like kind of little movies that you go through for the first time and you're amazed because of the mechanics and stuff like that. But whenever you replay it, I think it gets boring a little bit. It's not it's not a replayable game that much, and that's why I don't know. That's why I don't think it deserved Game of the Year for that. Like I don't know. I'm not a big fan of games that you can't replay, that you can re-enjoy. You play it first time and you're just like, oh, okay, that's it. And yeah, I think people really like the fact that it was nostalgia filled, that all of these IPs came back. And props to the developers that they did that, because like I think for the future is gonna bring back a lot of new IPs. It's actually gonna make them remember to like Sony and stuff like that. Because I remember like a week after the game came out, Sony was like, we have 0 IPs, and I was like, dude, you're
I remember that. Yeah, I
was like, what? You just released the games about all of your previous IPs. They're not Sony owned IPs. That I understand. They're mostly third party IPs, because we have like Castlevania, we have a Legend of Dragoon, we have, I don't know, we have a
Crash,
lot. Crash, Spyro, which are not owned by Sony, and that's where people, I think, got the wrong message whenever he tweeted this out. He was like, but still, I think it's
still a lot though.
Still a lot. Like you have Jack and Daxter,
Sly Cooper.
Yes, like Cooper, exactly.
Jack and Daxter are right. They're owned by Naughty Dog, right? Like
exactly. So for that, I was pretty hyped. I was pretty happy. It was a really fun time. But as I said, like as soon as you play it once, there's nothing really going on for the game. Like yes, it's fun. Yeah, the platforming is not that tight. It's a pretty easy game overall. It's more about blowing your mind than actually having some level design, in my opinion. Like I don't know. For me, it's a one-time thing, and then after that's why I think Metaphor deserved it better, because I think it's actually a game that, I don't know how to say it, but like it's actually a game that had, not that had efforts, but that had like,
I think it pushed it further.
Yeah, exactly. Like they actually tried something else, because Atlas is known to make the same RPG all the time. They succeed at it. They're great at it, but they actually decided to do something new, and they kind of got shot in. I don't know. I feel like they got robbed a little bit because of that. Because I feel like if it would have been like Persona 6, they would have won, even if it would have been the same game. So I don't know. But at the same time, I'm pretty happy that it won Astro Bot, because I did a video about it. I think it's going to do great for the video game industry, because it's kind of mainstream now. Like a lot of people played it with their kids or whether themselves. So I think it's going to actually push developers to actually do something about this, you know, actually trying to make great games that wins the award, you know, not just pushing games that nobody wants, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to all of these games, you know, that were nominated, the one that really piqued my interest was Astro Bot. You know, we're both major Nintendo fans, and this seems like such an itch that needs to be scratched. You know, we haven't had a 3D Mario
in over 7 years, maybe.
Yeah, you know, some people count Bowser's Fury.
Yeah,
right?
but
like, even then,
it's a tech demo more than anything else, in my opinion.
Exactly. So like, it really scratches an itch, and I appreciate, for once, Sony doing something that's not a third-person, story-driven, over-the-shoulder game. That's why I really applauded them for this game. I was like, thank you. Like, not everything has to be... And don't get me wrong, I like those games. Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Spider-Man. I love those games. They're fantastic. But I do like when you go out of your realm, you know?
Yeah.
I'd like Astro Bot to continue being a thing. You know, I would like to see maybe Team Asobi take on something else. Like, hey, if Sucker Punch isn't going to do Sly Cooper anymore, please let these guys do it.
Yeah.
There has to be a way to expand, in my opinion, using those IPs. Because I can't believe like Sony doesn't look at Nintendo in a way and go, we can totally do what those guys are doing. You know what I mean? Like they have such a vast array of games. We should be able to do the same, and they should totally be able to. So that's the game that piqued my interest the most. I have Balancho. I will be playing it. I like card games. I don't know. Well, I was watching someone do a run really quickly online, and I was like, this looks like it would like hit all these
Yeah.
like things in my brain when I see like you get the multiplier,
Yeah.
all these things, and I'm like, this looks like it would scratch an itch.
It's a little bit like Vampire Survivor in a way.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's always like, especially that the guy that made Vampire Survivor used to work at a casino, so he actually knows how to hook people. So that's I actually bought the game, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, I bought it too physically for Switch. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be giving that one a go. Metaphor, probably won't be playing it. I have Persona 5 and I've never played it.
Yeah.
I have Persona 5 Royal. I'll probably get into that. I'm so bad with RPGs.
No, I get it.
You know,
I get it. It's not for everyone. That's why I understand why it didn't win, you know? Because it's not for everyone.
The other three is where it kind of gets interesting. And look, Erdtree is obviously fantastic. There's no way, no one's quite. I never understood why people were getting mad about. It's not the quality of Erdtree that's in question. It's clearly amazing. They've clearly put a lot of time and effort, and it's Elden Ring, probably widely considered now a top 20 game of all time.
Yeah,
you know, it's not my kind of game, but it's the fact that it's DLC.
Yeah.
It's not a product that you can purchase.
No, exactly.
You know, so that's why I always had a hard time with it being there. I get Black Myth Wukong. I get that it was very innovative in the sense that this is a Chinese developer. This is really the first time we've ever had that, you know, in a AAA sense. It looks fun, but it doesn't look like something I want to play right away.
Yeah. Maybe wait for a sell.
Exactly. Like graphically it looks amazing. I'm not going to deny that. It looks probably one of the best looking games ever. Yeah. I just know that when it comes to these really difficult, it's not, they say it's not Souls-like, but whenever I'm watching gameplay, it feels Souls-like. I just know that I would need, you know, to dedicate a full time and day for it. So from what I heard, apparently the developers were really happy to win. They won Action Game of the Year.
They won Action Game of the Year, which I think they deserve, honestly.
Yeah. But it sounds like they were crying that they lost Game of the Year. Sounds like they really were invested into this game, which is really nice to see. Oh, I know that you and I, it's not that we don't like this game. I think we just haven't had the time, and we have such a big backlog that getting to it'll probably take a while.
It'll take a while, and to be honest, like the physical copy just came out.
It did,
I was thinking of putting a copy aside. But at the same time, like I'll wait on a very cheap sale digitally. Like I'm a big advocate for physical games. That's not what I'm saying. Course, don't torch us in the comment being like, hey.
No, we're physical people here.
We're physical people, but at the same time, digital has it has its ways. Like it's more convenient. Even if I work at a video game store, like I'm telling you, I still buy digital games. Sometimes it's just more easy to do, cheaper and stuff like that. But I just feel like, I think for Elden Ring especially, I feel like it took another game's place, and that game is Silent Hill 2.
That was that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think for me, like Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite games this year.
Yeah, that would have been the other one.
And not to spoil anything, not to say anything, but it is not really a remake of the game. It's more of a continuation of the game in a way. So
retelling,
retelling. Just you know. So I thought that I think that Elden Ring took his spot. Unfortunately, I thought. I think like maybe it's because of like money decisions, or they were like, oh, this game is so popular that will include it. So I don't know. For me, Balatro, dude, why is this even here? Like, realistically, like I understand that it is a good game. I'm not saying it is a good game. It is a bad game. But for me, I see it as a mobile game. Like, yes,
I always think the way it works is they always like to have that indie representation in there. This game obviously reviewed super well.
Yeah.
Obviously, it has a following. I'd have to play it to give my full opinion because, they do really like to make sure their indie developers get the love. So
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
it is really popular on mobile. Like it is
Yeah,
super
super
popular
popular.
there. It sounds like so. Um,
But it won.
but yeah,
It
I
won
get it.
quite a lot of title, and I'm
It
happy
did.
for that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know who was the nominees for best indie game this year, but
I'll take a look really
yeah,
quick.
because I feel like it should not have won best indie game of the year, because I thought there was another game there that should have won, but I just don't remember what it is. Because I feel like it's. I don't want to sound like edgy when I say this, but I feel like it's more
He's edgy.
like we're all addicted to some forms of gambling. Like, I like to collect Pokemon cards. Like, let's be honest here. I like to collect Pokemon cards. It is my itch to gambling. It satisfies my itch to, like, you know. I feel like Balatro is kind of
So, if you want the best indie games,
yeah.
The winner was Balancho, but the other options were Animal Well, which was really well reviewed. That one was really popular. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. And I've been meaning to pick up UFO 50.
UFO 50,
I've heard
same.
really
I
good
heard
things.
great things about it, but I think Animal Will should have won instead of Balatro. I think, just in a general standpoint, there has been so much effort put more to Animal Well than Balatro. Like, I understand, like, yes, it is a roguelike, yes, it is a completely new engine. Like, this, I understand all of this, but, like, actually making level design, actually making ambiance in a game, actually making sure that there's a cohesive story and people love it so much, instead of just, like, playing poker in a way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, I just find it odd that people were not like, oh, Animal Well should have won instead of Balatro, you know? But I know that a lot of people likes it. It's just, I don't know. I hate when...
it has a huge following.
Yeah.
I am going to try it out and see what I get out of it.
Yeah.
And the last game was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think if this game came out in September, I think it would have had a lot more steam.
Yeah.
But it felt like, it came out in February, obviously. Was popular for a little bit there, but it kind of
sold
went away
poorly, though.
pretty quiet. Yeah, but
which is
I think
really
that's more
surprising.
Yeah, I think that's more Square Enix realizing, though, that they cannot just do PlayStation exclusivity anymore. Yeah. Their stuff has to be on Xbox.
PC,
their stuff has
PC,
to be on PC day one.
Yeah.
And I think they've kind of said that. So nothing against this group of games, but when I brought up 2023's Game of the Year nominations, oh my God. Not to say that this was a bad year in gaming. It wasn't. It felt like this year was a very coasting year. We coasted a lot to get us ready for 2025, because 2025 sounds like it's going to be a pretty insane one.
Yeah.
Because 2023, when you look at it, it's Alan Wake 2, Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil 4, Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Like, what a lineup.
What a lineup, exactly.
Like, and I think Mario Wonder... I've been like,
I know you love this.
It is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I love this. It's one of my favorite platforms of all time.
Yeah.
The fact that it's like probably the weakest game of this six.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
insane.
Yeah.
Like, so again, not a bad year. I would just say in comparison to last year, it was definitely a quieter year.
Yes.
A lot of softer launches this year.
Yeah.
Any award besides Game of the Year that surprised you? I didn't really, honestly, when it comes to these things, I don't pay a ton of attention. Yeah. I kind of am like, oh, that's nice, but
there's an award that I
don't stick.
There's an award that I just don't understand. Actually, I understand why it's there, but it annoys me why it's there, and it's the best sports/racing game.
Like, I know, EA. The FC game.
The FC, I know EA must be a big part of just financing.
Yeah.
Because during the previous year, like, a lot of the ads were for sports games. So I think it's more of a it's just a thank you to EA to be like, hey, let's put that category here, because nobody gives a crap. Like, nobody actually gives a crap about those games. Like, realistically, whenever I saw the announcement trailer, I was like, why is this here? Like, why are we having like sports game or like a tennis game that probably like 1,000 people played. Like realistically,
Topspin,
yeah, top spin. Like, so
yeah.
for that, I was just like, eh. Like,
At least it's one of those ones where Jeff Keighley just says it quick and we kind of
we kind of move on. He knows it's just there to thank people. It's like, hey, we know you exist.
Great job.
Please, if we need money, finance us. You know. But yeah, that was one of the announcements.
Funnier ones. Yeah. It just keeps coming up.
Yeah, that just keeps coming up. I think one other thing I'll say though is the ads were more focused on PC gaming this year, and I think it's kind of interesting. Or just
gaming in general. I feel like even
because, as I said previously, like the previous ads were like probably like sports games or like mobile games or like whatever, but now it was pretty much like Lenovo, Xbox. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is
this is an Xbox.
Yeah, this is an Xbox. Yeah.
This is an Xbox.
Which, quick note here, I think Xbox won't do another console. I think it's done.
I think they're gonna keep doing consoles only for the sake of convenience for people.
Yeah, maybe because they have money.
But they've pretty much given up. You know what I mean? They're now a developer, I think, or a publisher at this point. So. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Which I'm glad. I'm still glad the Xbox Series X exists only for one reason, is the backwards compatibility.
Oh, I know. It's so good compared to anything else.
And like streaming games
buy,
sometimes
500 Xbox 360 games or more. Like you can buy a ton.
Yeah.
Still.
And like, yeah, that's it. Like streaming games sometimes, like you want to play on the original hardware because you don't want to get in trouble and stuff like that. Like we all played this game before, we know. But yeah, so that's a great way to play retro games, honestly. Like
Well, the awards, they're only like 25% of the actual show.
Yeah.
The other part are the game trailers.
Yes.
So there were a ton. We won't go through everything, but I did want to kind of go through some of the highlights.
Yeah.
We'll kind of go just back and forth. Give me your first one that you thought that really caught your interest. I know one already, but I give me one that really caught your interest.
Juice knows that I love retro games. I love Castlevania to death. Okay. When Ninja Gaiden got announced, I was freaking my mind, and like especially I don't know if I'm right, but I think it's the same team that did Messenger or something like that.
The one I know they've made Blasphemous.
Okay.
That's the game that I know that they made. It's like a Souls-like, but it's
in 2D and it's
platformer.
Really good, and like the gameplay looked really good. Like I'm really looking forward to play that game. Like I'm very, very excited. I think it's one of the games that I was more excited about. And another game, which, okay, I know it's very weird what I'm gonna say, but like the I think I don't understand. I don't remember what name is the Amazon Prime show with the
Next Level. Secret Level.
Secret Level. Yeah.
Secret Level.
The Pac-Man episode. Blew my mind. Like it's not even that great. It's just I wanted to know what was at the other end of the maze, and now I can play that game. I can play that game, and I'm super.
I think it's called Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah,
I think that it's something basic like that. It's they're making it into a Metroid.
Which is
game.
I don't like the graphics. Like I hate Flash.
Yeah, it looks kind of mobile.
I hate that type of graphics. But the narrative will push me to play that game. Like I want to know what's on the other side of that maze. I want to know the lore of that story. Like I don't know. I was very, very excited for
this. That one looks pretty cool. So for me, just I'll just start with the pre-show. Just one that got me, and then I'll toss it back. Slay the Spire 2. I ordered Slay the Spire because I really wanted to get into it. I'm trying to play a lot more roguelites at work just because sometimes there's downtime. Yeah. And I kind of want to play something kind of endless.
Repetitive, a little bit like there's no commitment
Slay the
in a way.
Spire is one that I'm going to give a try. So Slay the Spire 2 was really interesting.
Yeah.
Another one before I let you go back, Rematch, which is from the developers who made Sifu.
Yeah.
They're making a soccer game,
which is weird.
A 5v5 arcade soccer game, and I'm obviously a big sports guy.
Yeah.
I like arcade sports games where there's kind of over the topness and it's
like
fast.
Mega Man Soccer and stuff like that.
Yeah, or like NBA Street,
Yeah.
NFL Street, NFL Blitz, any of those types of games. So this is it's gonna scratch my itch
It's gonna scratch your
that.
itch.
I think so.
Yeah.
So those got me really excited at the beginning.
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed when I saw Sifu and I saw a soccer game. I was like,
it was
what
soccer.
is going
Yeah.
on here? Like, imagine, okay, that's the exact thought I had in my mind. I was like, imagine something leaking, being like, Sifu developer making a soccer game. Like, for me, it was just like, nobody would have believed it. That's the thing. Like, nobody would have believed it. So, but, yeah. If it's free on PS Plus one day, I'll probably pick it up.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that's a game. That's the type of game that you'll know is gonna be free on PS Plus or like on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about you? What's another one that kind of piqued your interest?
So
without getting into the last two, because I feel like we'll have a big conversation about those two.
Yeah. So Onimusha, of course.
Yeah, Real Sword. That looks like it's gonna be more Souls-like.
Souls-like, yeah. I'm not a big fan of CG cinematics. I think they're only there to hype you up, but it got the job done. Like Onimusha, it was time that it came back. They did a remaster a few years ago, which was a great remaster. Honestly, like great ports. I know maybe the fans will criticize me by saying like, oh, there was this mechanic that has a frame. Okay, like for me, like it's a modern way to play it. I'm super happy. So there's that. And the big one for me, I think, is there's two actually. There's Witcher 4.
Witcher 4, yeah.
And there's Okami sequel, which I'm very excited about. Which I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never played the first one, but I've heard so much good things about it that now I just want to pick up a physical copy and just play it. I might think of streaming it, but like, very excited about these two, especially the Witcher 4. Still another CG cinematic, which but
I think they just said that they were kind of going into full production. So it kind of checks out. I think it's still about 2 to 3 years off.
Yeah. But very, very big announcement on that note. Like, especially Witcher 4. Witcher 3 was such a big game when it came out.
It was huge.
It kind of changed a little bit the industry. Like, the more narrative part of the industry. Like, the more choices. Like the Oblivion choices or the Skyrim choices, but more in depth. Like, you could... I remember, look, I played Witcher 3 for 75 hours. I was not even at the third like city or something, the third place. So like, because I was doing everything, reading every bits of dialogue and everything, I was so immersed in the story. Like, I think that I can't wait what they do with Witcher 4. I just don't know the ending of Witcher 3, so I will need to come back to it. I want to finish it before doing a Witcher 4, but pretty excited about those two. How about you?
Yeah, immediately Split Fiction. Really excited for.
Yeah.
I know Mags and I we played through a lot of It Takes Two. I think we're gonna try to beat it. It came free on PlayStation Plus, so we're gonna give it a go. Split Fiction looks fantastic. Can't wait to get into
amazing.
more arguments during that game.
Yeah, exactly.
One surprise was Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Randomly, they decided that they're gonna have
an actual multiplayer game.
Or like, it's I like how they were like, this is a brand new release, an independent release, kind of being like, it's not DLC.
It's not DLC.
You can nominate us for Game of the Year
exactly. Which I think it could have been a DLC, but
but after that, there was still quite a bit, like Sonic Crossworlds, like the racing, literally just showed Shadow in a car, and that was it. So that one makes me feel like it's kind of far off still.
One thing I'm wondering about this game is it gonna like collab with other franchise?
I think so. Like I'm assuming it's like Sonic All Stars Racing.
But I mean like other Sega IPs, not only Sega IPs, like maybe indie games or maybe like.
Well, that'd be kind of cool.
Nintendo, maybe. I'm not too sure it's gonna happen. Honestly, like Nintendo has Mario Kart, and it's one of their best-selling games of all time. So But still, that could be nice to have Sonic and Mario Kart, or vice versa, like Mario. Well,
Sega, they had a handful because not only did they have that, they announced there's a new Virtua Fighter in the works. And they also announced Project Century, which is the Yakuza guys. It's
yeah,
based in 1915 Japan. Looks kind of more combat
yeah.
focused. That
Less,
one looked
more
good too.
serious too. I feel
Yeah,
like.
not as jokey.
Yeah,
as,
because Yakuza
yeah.
can be a very serious franchise, but it's
It
so
could also
dumb.
not be.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself seriously until it does,
No.
like for 2 minutes, and then it comes back to being ridiculous. So, no, I was kind of happy. I think I knew right away that it was like
Yeah.
a Yakuza game, a Yakuza, like the same developers, because
Yeah,
like
it has that look.
it has that look. I'm not too like Yakuza is fun because it's dumb for me.
Yeah.
It's not, the combat's amazing, everything's amazing about this game, but I think if it's in a more serious note, I don't think I'll enjoy it as much as if it was dumb, you know?
What was the Square Enix open world GT? Screaming Dogs? Is that what it was?
I think Sleeping Dogs, I think.
Sleeping Dogs, yeah. I wonder if it would be like that. I liked Sleeping Dogs. It was fun.
I've never played it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've
it's not
seen
too
like
bad.
yeah, go for it, sorry.
If you're tired of GTA
Yeah.
and you kind of want GTA but with a little more combat involved,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Like yeah.
I'll
So that's
be
the
honest,
vibe I was kind of getting from this.
Yeah.
Maybe like kind of like that, I guess.
I don't really like GTA, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not huge into
Yeah.
GTA these days. The older I get, but so that's why I was playing that.
Yeah.
Just alternative. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Like, I think
Um,
the only one I finished is GTA 4 and Saints Row 4, which I
Saints
did
Row
like
4,
yeah,
yeah.
which but I don't remember anything about those games, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turok Origins.
Oh, yeah.
Also a weird one. Third person Turok.
it looked
I'm
like
kind of excited actually. I thought it looked okay.
I'm excited because it's Turok, okay? But I don't think it's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, me neither. I think it'll just be like you're just shooting dinosaurs. You know,
Yeah.
if you were looking for anything more, you're probably not gonna get it.
And it kind of looked like a game as service, which I'm
Oh, I hope
it needs
not,
to
man.
stop.
Just, yeah, just let me
It
buy
needs
it
to
and
stop.
I'll-
Companies, look, investors, I know you're not gonna watch this, but stop. Just stop.
If you are watching, thank you very much. For
Yeah,
watching.
thank you, yeah. But yeah, this is not the way to go for the future of gaming. Like nobody. Anyway,
But yeah, you know, after that, there really wasn't that much. You know, we got to see Borderlands 4. That was kind of cool. You know, I know there's still big following for that.
yeah.
Splitgate 2 doesn't really pique my interest, but I know some people that are excited.
Mm. Borderlands.
But yeah,
4
that brings
was-
us kind of to the big one
Yeah.
at the end, which is Naughty Dog's brand new
Yes,
intellectual property,
which looks
is
a lot.
intergalactic.
Yeah, which looks a
Yeah.
lot like Akira, by the way. Like
It kind of does. It does.
It
Yeah, now that you
does.
mention it, I never even thought about
same
that.
jacket, same computer, the thing that puts
With-
the
yeah. Even the spaceship kind
Yeah.
of has the same vibe
the
as the
Porsche
motorcycle.
spaceship. What?
Yeah. Yeah, this one's the comments are turned off on a lot of these
Yeah.
on the trailers of these.
I'm-
I'm so over these people.
Yeah.
Like it's a female lead. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like
Yeah. Like
one of my
When it came to the
favorite games of
trailer-
all time is a female lead and it's Metroid. Like
yeah.
who
Yeah.
cares? As long as the character is actually a good character. Like I don't.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
care.
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer again today to kind of prep
Yeah.
for this. I mean, it looks amazing. There really wasn't any gameplay, so obviously I can't
Yeah.
judge. Like visually speaking, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks amazing. It kind of has what I call Marvel humor, you know, and that always
Yeah.
worries me
Yeah.
when the bounty hunter lady with the eye patch goes, you know, you shouldn't go on that planet. It's really dangerous. And the lady just, he's like sipping and
and
staring
she's
at
like-
the lady from her cup.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't, you've already made up your mind, haven't you? And it's like, it's one of those like Marvel
But-
humor moments where I'm like, I pray that there isn't a lot of this.
I think-
Please.
Okay, that's my take on this. I think we're the same age, right? You're like an old,
Yeah.
You're older,
Yeah.
a little bit older than me, but like, I think we're in the okay. It's gonna sound weird what I'm gonna say, but like we're in the part where we're in between the millennials and the Gen Z. So we're
Yes. Yeah.
zillennials.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we don't quite fit with the millennials, but we don't quite fit with the Gen Z. And I think
Yeah.
this type of humor is really made for millennials, and this game is
Yeah,
really
yeah.
gonna be targeted towards millennials. Like, so that's why the Marvel humor really comes into play. Like, it's
Yeah, it just
it is
doesn't
a
hit with me.
millennial thing, for in my opinion. Like, it's what they like to like, it's what makes them laugh in a way. Like, for
Yeah.
me, it's just not funny at all. But I don't know. What I didn't like about the trailer is just the overabundance of like licenses, which is
Yeah, that immediately was the only thing that I immediately caught onto. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Porsche.
Porsche.
Oh, Sony,
Yeah.
like is the CD player. Oh, Adidas shoes. Like
Exactly.
it immediately is what my mind was
And
like. I was like, is this product placement? Like that's
yeah,
immediately what like my brain was going to.
and that worries me, not because like I don't think the game is gonna be good. It's just because it's gonna be in a licensing hell in in 10 or 7 or 8 years. Like, I know
Yeah.
this game is one of the games that is gonna be delisted because the license just expired, or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
or some
Adidas
weird
license
thing.
are just like, oh, we don't care. This game doesn't sell anymore, so let's just remove our license and that's it. Nobody's gonna care. But so for video game preservation only, I think this is gonna be a game that is gonna be in a lot
Yeah.
of like trouble in a way.
Not only that, but the music, because obviously there was a bunch of CDs
Yeah.
in the CD player,
Yeah.
and same thing with
Yeah.
the music licenses.
So that raised flag for me. I was like, not another game, and it's just like pre-alpha footage probably. So like, it's probably not even gonna be in the final game, or it is gonna be, but it's like it's gonna be a minor part. I just think like
Yeah.
like you said, product placement more than anything else.
Yeah, that was immediately what caught
Which-
my eye. Not the female lead.
No.
It was immediately me going,
Like,
I recognize that brand, right? There's a brand there. Like, are you trying
Exactly.
to sell? Not that I can buy a Porsche,
Yeah.
but I definitely was like, I noticed these things immediately.
Exactly. And like for the female lead things, like, dude, who cares? Who cares? Like,
I don't have the energy to
like
care about that kind of
I
stuff.
love anyway. To be honest, I always choose female as a lead in my, if I have the choice, because I just think it's, I don't know, I just like it better. So, and I just don't understand why people make a point about it. Like, just relax, man.
Yeah.
It's a video
I just want to
game.
know. It looks like it's going to be a melee focused game. I just
Yeah.
want to know if the sword combat's going to feel nice and the blaster is going to feel good.
Exactly.
From what it sounds like, this game has been in development for like 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, all the footage captured is like in game. Like that's an in-game cinematic. Apparently.
But,
so I don't know how far along this is, but I'm assuming 2026 because Ghost of Yote is set to come out this year coming up, right? 25?
25, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like this could probably get pushed to 26 if
For
Ghost of
releases
Tsushima
windows.
sequel. Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're not going to hear about this game until June again.
Maybe.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. The game development is wild. So when I hear that this game has been in development for
3 years.
for 3 to 4 years, I'm like, so are you? So you must
Working
be
on it?
close,
Yeah.
or is it not close at all?
Exactly.
Like, you know, like it could be through in like some sort of hell, or it's actually a lot closer than we think.
What you said about the in-game cinematics, I'm very wary about that, because most of the footage that we saw in the Game Awards for every game that we had is pretty much fake gameplay. Like, we had the same thing happen with like Last of Us 2. You know, when the first trailer appeared and it was like so smooth, Ellie was like taking things and just
I remember that.
it was not real gameplay. It looks a little bit like that in the final product, but not as near. Like, if you
Not the same.
No, if you put them side by side, there is so much more animation. It's so much more fluid in the actual trailer. Like, it's so yes, it might be in game like footage, but at the same time, I'm not even sure that like any of this is going to be in the actual game. Like,
yeah, it's hard to say like
Yeah.
as to what is or isn't legit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to say that this will probably be a 2026
Yeah.
release or late 2025. So I guess we'll wait and see. I have a hard time not trusting Naughty Dog. They've never really done anything that's really combat focused.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of their stuff, like in my opinion, like when it comes to The Last of Us and Uncharted, it's like Gears of War. You know, you hide behind a cover, you hide behind a cover and then shoot. So if this game is going to be kind of like, you know, I'm using a laser sword that's not a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's probably going to be another Souls-like, to be honest. So.
Yeah, or is it going to be kind of like Jedi Fallen Order, where it's Souls-like, but it's a little quicker,
really light.
You know?
Yeah,
really light. Yeah. So I am curious. The game looks fine. These cinematics don't do anything for me. I need to see the game.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like that. Back to my point on Onimusha, I am very hyped, but I don't know nothing about the game, and that doesn't do anything for me. Like, I'm very hyped that it got announced. Capcom is actually making another game, which is amazing, but like, show us something. Don't show. It's like the Outer Worlds a couple of years ago. I think it was like, because they announced Outer Worlds 2, which I was.
Yes. Yeah.
I was just like, okay, but the first time they released a trailer like 4 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago now.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, it's just a whatever.
A CG cinematic that they probably like. I don't know, man. It's not that hyped of a game, so I just don't know why they put so much effort in trying to hype people up for the sequel, where it got kind of criticized, and that's why I don't like CG cinematics. Just don't announce it. Just announce it when you're ready. Like, we'll be ready. We'll buy it if we're interested.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like you don't have to hype us, like, because you probably blew off like half your budget just doing that CG cinematic. I'm exaggerating here, but you know.
Yeah.
Like, so
I will say like, let's say this game comes out late 2025, early 2026. I will give Sony like some credit. They're kind of like starting.
Yes.
To be like, because they've had a lot of criticisms about not having enough games for
or every
their
game
platform,
comes out on PS,
right?
On PC, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but if you have Astro Bot, you have Ghost of Yote, you have Wolverine, which is seems to be a 2025, 2026 release. Then you got this, kind of got those kind of 4 games going. I'll give Sony a little credit this time.
Yeah.
But the game looks fine. I just want to see more at this point.
Yeah, I want to see more, but as you said, I think it'll take a long time before we actually see something. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but still glad that Sony's are actually they're actually thinking of doing like new IPs instead of like just redoing the same thing again, like Horizon. Like I'm surprised that a new Horizon didn't get announced.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're really trying with that franchise. Yeah,
and I think the hype is gone for this game.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I want to try it again, but yeah, I think they've given it a good try. I just don't think it's gonna work.
It's like
so we'll see. Were you moving on from the trailers? Were you surprised that Nintendo really didn't do anything there? Like, did that surprise you at all, or were you kind of just like, you know what? They don't need the awards, or it's just not that they didn't have anything.
Honestly, Nintendo kind of always did their own things.
Yeah,
by themselves. The only big presence I've seen Nintendo do on a Game Awards is Joker for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, which the game was not even on Switch back then. It took like 3 years to get on Switch. Like, they don't care. That's the thing. Nintendo don't care. They do their own thing. They know, like, they know us. They're gonna announce something, and we're gonna be like, "Oh my god, oh my god, Nintendo," you know.
Yep.
So they know us. They. So I'm not very surprised that they. I wish they would have had a bigger presence, because, like, I think it's still a great opportunity to showcase something. Showcase maybe like a little bit more footage of like Metroid Prime 4.
That was the one for me.
Yeah.
I thought they could have had a chance to do more Metroid Prime
And
4.
I don't think they realize that, but Nintendo has to understand that they rely too much on the fans.
Yeah.
They rely a little bit too much on the fans. I think they have to kind of get a broader audience, like if they go to the Game Awards and they just announce it, because it's gonna break the internet. Whatever they announce is gonna break the internet again and again. Like, if they show more trailer for Metroid Prime 4, it is gonna be everywhere the next days, like everywhere.
Exactly.
Even though if it's not the greatest like thing that came out from the Game Awards, still Nintendo had a presence. People are just gonna be like, "Oh my god, Metroid Prime 4 looks so good." So yeah, I was not really surprised, a little bit disappointed, but at the same time it's expected with Nintendo, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Nintendo, they like to announce things on their own terms. I think they're very much like, I think they actually want to announce something at the Game Awards, but they just want to really be sure that the Game Awards are like a legit thing.
Yeah.
That's well put together and stuff, because even 2 years ago we had that kid that went up on stage.
Oh, Matan, yes.
Yeah, when he went up on stage with the Elden Ring guys and made like a complete mockery of it, right? So I think Nintendo, you know, and I'm assuming they're like, we need to know that this is a safe place to announce it, right? And I think that's what it comes down to.
And Nintendo is a very traditional company, like
very,
like, I don't know how to explain this, but like Nintendo's not gonna take you seriously if things like that happens.
Exactly. Like, so, it has to be. They have to know for sure that there's security, that, you know, or like this thing isn't gonna happen that will disrupt or take away from a Metroid trailer or something.
I feel like Nintendo needs to be a little bit in control, because if they don't have control over things, they will not help you at all. They will not.
Correct.
They have to have some sort of control. We've seen that with like Smash tournaments. We've seen that with everything that Nintendo like the community tried to do, and Nintendo just kept putting the brakes on it because they didn't have control, and they wanted to have control. And unfortunately, we've proven them time and time again, especially with the Smash community, that we couldn't be trusted. So so it's just, and they're like old dads, you know. They're just gonna, like, you do something once and that's it. Like, it's gonna take like 5 or 10 years until they trust you again. Yeah. So I think the Matan situation didn't really help on that. I didn't even see a lot of, I did not even see one Nintendo rep there.
Doug Bowser was there.
Oh, okay.
But he was pretty much it. You know, so I know Nintendo's headquarters in Seattle, right? So flying from Seattle to LA is pretty easy. So you know, you just go there, you shake your hands and stuff.
You shake your hands, you do your appearances.
Exactly.
Because usually you have like Reggie. I know Reggie doesn't work for Nintendo anymore, but you have Reggie. You have like some devs there, and but to be fair, they didn't have a lot of games too that were nominated, so I think they didn't really have a place.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they were just like, I don't care, you know.
Yeah. I think Doug Bowser, we're gonna start seeing him a bit more in the coming months, though. So we will be talking about that next week. That's gonna be the big thing next week. We're gonna be talking, a little teaser for everybody. We got a lot to talk about next week about 2024's Nintendo and what the future holds.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's wrap this one up. What did you overall give it a letter grade? You know, or scale of 1 to 10. What did you think of this year's Game Awards? What did you think?
7 booms out of 10, bro.
7 booms out of 10. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
You have to remember that 7 is still an amazing note. Like,
yeah, it's above average.
Yeah, it's above average. It was good. It was a low. Yeah. It was not. I don't know. It was not like, I was not hyped as much if it was E3 or something like that. But at the same time, it is what we're gonna have for the future. So.
It is an award show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Too, right?
7. It was definitely better than the other years, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'll give it 7.5 booms.
7
booms and then a boo.
Okay, we get into the okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought same thing. You know, I thought it was really good. You can improve still on a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I thought this, was Jeff Keighley's probably his best show. So hopefully, this point forward, he knows how to pace things out. He lets the speeches be about that 3 to 4 minute mark.
Yeah.
And we can kind of keep the show moving along smoothly. And hopefully, he can keep getting pretty solid announcements because I think people are taking it pretty seriously.
Pretty seriously now. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, Ben, glad we got to talk this over. Glad we got to go over this. Next week, we're going to talk all things Nintendo, so that'll be a great time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thanks for joining us. This has been No Continues. I'm Juice. You can find me at Juice Bar Gaming on TikTok. Ben, where can they find you on all that good stuff?
Find me on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. I don't know if it's going to be if it's going to be gone by then, but TikTok, so Benduzo. Yeah, that's it.
We will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.